The station was under repair for 3 days. Classes were suspended. Students stayed in their quarters or gathered in safe common areas. The hull breach had been caused by a collision with uncharted debris, pure accident. No one had died, largely because of the quick evacuation. Everyone knew who to thank for that. When classes resumed, the atmosphere was completely different. Students looked at Jiho and Hana with open awe now. The casual friendliness was gone, replaced by something deeper. Respect, gratitude, and yes, a little bit of fear. The humans noticed the change immediately. Everyone's acting weird, Jiho muttered to Hana as they walked to class. Students in the corridor stepped aside for them, pressing against walls to give them space. They saw what we can do, Hana said quietly. They're processing it. In the classroom, seats had been rearranged. Without anyone organizing it, the students had left a bubble of empty space around the humans' desks. Only Prick sat nearby in his usual spot. Instructor Velis entered, her eye stalk scanning the room. She looked tired. The stress of the emergency had affected her deeply. "Welcome back, everyone," she said softly. "I am sure you all have questions and feelings about what happened. Today, instead of our normal lesson, we will have an open discussion. This is a safe space. Please share what is on your mind." Silence for a moment. Then Sula spoke up, her voice trembling. "I do not know how to feel about the humans anymore." Jiho and Hana exchanged glances but said nothing. Sula continued, her wings fluttering nervously. "Before the emergency, I thought I understood you. You seemed kind and friendly, but when the crisis happened, you became different, cold, commanding, dangerous. I was grateful you saved us, but I was also frightened of you. I do not know which version is the real you." "Both versions are real," Hana said gently. "Humans can be kind and gentle most of the time, but when danger comes, we shift into survival mode. It is not a choice we make consciously. It is something our biology does automatically." Bryn pulsed an uncertain yellow. "But you were so calm during the crisis. How can you be calm when facing death?" "We were not calm inside," Jiho explained. "Our hearts were racing. Our adrenaline was pumping. We were just as scared as everyone else. But humans learned a long time ago that panic gets you killed. So we train ourselves to act despite fear, to think clearly even when terrified." "That sounds exhausting," Kip said quietly. "It is," Hana admitted. After the emergency, both Jiho and I went back to our quarters and shook for an hour. The fear catches up with you later after the danger is gone, but in the moment you do what needs to be done. Teepee raised a tentacle hesitantly. "Why did you help us?" "You could have saved yourselves and left us behind. You would have been faster without carrying injured students." The question hung in the air. It was the question everyone wanted to ask. Jiho looked genuinely confused by it. "Why wouldn't we help? You're our classmates, but we are not your family, not your pack," Teepee pressed. "You have no biological obligation to protect us." "Humans expand the concept of pack," Hana explained. "Our ancestors survived by forming groups. The bigger the group, the better the chances of survival. So humans evolved to bond with others easily. We create families not just by blood, but by choice. Our pack is whoever we decide is worth protecting." "And you decided we are worth protecting?" Sula asked, her voice small. "Of course you are," Jiho said simply. "We've been studying together for weeks. We eat lunch together. We help each other with homework. You're friends. Friends are pack." The simplicity of it seemed to stun the class. Prick spoke for the first time. "I need to say something." His voice was heavy with emotion. "When the emergency happened, I froze. My instincts activated, but they made me frightening instead of helpful. I have spent my whole life trying to overcome my predator nature, trying to be peaceful and gentle. But when it mattered most, I was useless." "You were not useless," Velis said firmly. "You stayed calm in your corner and prevented panic from spreading worse." "That is a generous interpretation," Prick said bitterly. "The truth is, I was too afraid to act. But the humans, who are far more dangerous than I could ever be, acted without hesitation." "I do not understand how," Jiho leaned forward. "Pricks, can I ask you something? Why did you choose to be vegetarian? Why do you meditate and study philosophy?" "Because I want to be better than my nature," Prick said. "I want to prove that Ralkeen can be peaceful, that we are more than just hunters." "But that is where you are wrong," Hana said gently. "You are not fighting against your nature. You are expressing a different part of it. Ralkeen evolved as pack hunters too, right? That means you also evolved the ability to cooperate, to communicate, to care for your pack members. Those traits are just as much a part of your nature as hunting. Prix's eyes widened slightly. Jiho continued the thought. You are not trying to be something you are not. You are choosing which parts of yourself to emphasize. That is not weakness, that is strength. Humans are predators, Hana said. We have instincts for violence, for hunting, for killing. But we also have instincts for cooperation, protection, and love. Both are equally natural to us. We are not kind despite being dangerous. We are dangerous because we love. We protect fiercely. We fight threats to our pack. The same instincts work together. Being capable of violence and choosing peace, Jiho said. That is more meaningful than being incapable of violence. Do you understand? Prix was silent for a long moment. Then his posture changed. His shoulders straightened. His head lifted. For the first time since anyone had known him, he stopped trying to make himself look smaller. I understand, he said quietly. I have been ashamed of being a predator, but there is no shame in it. The shame would be in using those abilities to harm unnecessarily. Choosing peace when I could choose violence. That is not denying my nature. That is controlling it. Exactly, Hana smiled. Bryn pulsed a thoughtful green. So the humans are not peaceful despite being from a death world. They are protective because they are from a death world. They understand danger so they shield others from it. Life on Earth taught us that survival is hard, Jiho said. Everything is trying to kill you. The weather, the animals, the environment itself. But humans survived anyway, and we learned that working together is the only way to make it. Alone, a human is just another animal. Together we can accomplish anything. That is why you built a civilization, Velas said slowly, understanding dawning. Not despite your hostile world, but because of it. You had to cooperate or die. Right, Hana nodded. Every human child grows up learning to depend on others. We teach our young to share, to help, to protect the weak, because we know that someday, we might be the weak one who needs help. It is a cycle of protection. Sula's wings had stopped trembling. So when you commanded us during the emergency, you were not being cruel. You were being protective. I am sorry if my tone frightened you, Hana said sincerely. But in a crisis, there is no time for gentle suggestions. I needed everyone to act immediately to survive. Sometimes protection looks harsh, like a mother animal defending her young, Prix said. She will fight with absolute violence to protect them. Not because she is cruel, but because she loves them. Exactly like that, Jiho agreed. Kip spoke up shyly. Can I ask a strange question? What does it feel like to be so strong? To know you could hurt anyone easily if you wanted to? Jiho considered this carefully. It feels like responsibility. Every human grows up learning to control their strength. We practice being gentle with fragile things. We learn not to hit even when angry. We train ourselves to use minimum necessary force, because if we did not learn control, we would accidentally hurt people we care about. Human children are taught from a very young age not to bite, not to hit, not to kick, Hana added, even though those are natural fighting instincts. We learn that just because you can hurt someone does not mean you should. That is why you were so gentle when rescuing us, Sula realized. Even while lifting impossibly heavy beams and breaking through doors, you were careful with us. You are fragile to us, Jiho said honestly. Most galactic species are. We have to be constantly aware of our strength around others. It becomes automatic after a while. Velas looked at her datapad, then at her students. At Prix, sitting tall for the first time. At the humans, relaxed and open. At the prey species, no longer trembling. I think we have all learned something important this semester, she said. Fear comes from not understanding. Once you understand someone, even if they are dangerous, the fear transforms into respect. I was afraid of Prix at first because he looks like a predator, Sula admitted. I was afraid of the humans later because they are predators. But now I understand that being a predator is not the same as being evil. Choice matters. Intention matters. Prix looked at Jiho and Hana. Thank you for treating me as an equal, for never fearing me, for showing me that strength and kindness can coexist. That is what friends do, Jiho said simply. As class ended, the students did not rush away as they had before. They lingered. They talked. The bubble of space around the humans gradually filled as students felt comfortable approaching them again. Not because they were less dangerous, but because everyone understood now that danger in the service of protection is not something to fear. It is something to be grateful for. Friendship. From fellow predators who understood strength but 3 weeks into the semester, the integration class was having a normal day. Instructor Velis was teaching a lesson about emergency protocols. It was standard procedure, required for all students. She explained the alarm systems, evacuation routes, and emergency supplies. This is mostly a formality, Velis assured the class. The station has existed for over 50 years without a serious incident. The chances of a real emergency are extremely small. The universe has a sense of irony. At that exact moment, a deep booming sound echoed through the walls. The lights flickered. The station shuddered and groaned like a living creature in pain. Everyone froze. Then the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed throughout the classroom. An automated voice spoke in every language simultaneously. Hull breach detected. Section 7C compromised. All personnel evacuate to designated safe zones. For a moment, nobody moved. This could not be real. This had to be a drill. Another explosion rocked the station. This time closer. The floor tilted slightly. Several students fell from their seats. Then panic erupted. Sula screamed, her wings fluttering uselessly. Bryn's containment suit sparked and cracked from the pressure change. Small students stampeded toward the door, crushing against each other. Teepee was knocked down and almost trampled. Calm! Everyone calm! Velis shouted, but her voice was lost in the chaos. Her tentacles waved frantically as she tried to reach the control panel. Prick stood frozen, his predator instincts activated from the stress. His pupils dilated to full blackness. His claws extended involuntarily. His breathing came fast and heavy. When he tried to move to help, students saw his predator mode appearance and scrambled away from him in terror. No, I am trying to help. Prick's voice came out as a growl. He could not control it. His body was in fight-or-flight mode, and his biology had chosen fight. He backed into a corner, ashamed and helpless. He was making things worse. Then something changed in the room. Jiho and Hana stopped looking harmless. Their casual, friendly expressions vanished instantly. Their bodies shifted into a different posture. Predator posture, alert, focused, deadly calm. Their eyes scanned the room with cold precision, cataloging every danger, every exit, every person who needed help. It happened in less than a second. The transformation from friendly students to something else, something dangerous, something evolved to survive. Everyone stopped. Hana's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. It was not a shout. It was a command. The tone carried such absolute authority that every student froze instinctively. Prey instinct responded to predator command. The room went silent except for the alarms. Jiho, assess damage. I'll count students, Hana said quickly. On it, Jiho moved to the wall panel with swift, efficient movements. No wasted motion, no panic. Just action. Hana's eyes swept across the class, counting in seconds. 23 students, instructor, all present. Bryn is injured. Tippy is injured. Sula is in shock. How did she assess all that so fast? The other students could barely process what was happening. Jiho examined the wall panel and the door. Main door is jammed. Emergency vents are too small for most of us. Air pressure is dropping. We have maybe 5 minutes before this section loses atmosphere. Then we go through the door, Hana said simply. It is sealed, Velis said, her voice shaking. Emergency protocols locked it. It weighs over 500 kilograms. Jiho walked to the door and examined it closely. He tested the handle. Locked tight. He looked at Hana. She nodded. He braced his feet against the floor, placed both hands on the door handle. His muscles tensed, then he pulled. The metal of the handle groaned. Jiho's face turned red from effort. The veins in his neck and arms stood out. The humans had mentioned something about this. About accessing more strength in emergencies. About adrenaline removing normal limits. The door handle bent. Then the locking mechanism inside broke with a loud snap. The door swung open. Jiho staggered back, breathing hard. Door's open, move. But the students just stared at him in shock. He had just broken through a door designed to withstand explosive decompression. Move. Hana's command voice again. The students scrambled toward the door. Hana was already at Bryn's side. His containment suit had cracked, leaking his gaseous body. Fatal for gas sphere species within minutes. She pulled off her jacket and wrapped it tightly around the crack, then used her belt to seal it further. It was not perfect, but it would hold. Can you move? She asked Bryn. Yes, thank you. Then move, now. Jiho had picked up Teepee, who was too injured to walk. The small lizard being weighed perhaps 20 kilograms. Jiho held him in one arm while guiding others with his free hand. Then he reached down and picked up Sula with his other arm. And Kip. 3 students carried at once, combined weight nearly 50 kilograms. He was not even struggling. The class evacuated into the corridor. The air was hazy with smoke. Sparks flew from damaged panels. Part of the ceiling had collapsed ahead, blocking their normal route. Alternative route, Hana asked Velis. There's a service tunnel, but the entrance is blocked by debris. Velis pointed to a collapsed section. A metal support beam had fallen across the access panel. It was massive, at least 200 kilograms. Jiho set down the students he was carrying. He walked to the beam and studied it. Jiho, that's too heavy, Hana warned. Maybe. Maybe not. He positioned himself under one end of the beam, squatted down, gripped it. Sometimes you don't know what you can do until you have to. He lifted. His entire body shook with effort. His face went from red to purple. A sound came from his throat, something between a grunt and a roar, something primal. Every muscle in his body activated at once. The beam rose, slowly, incredibly, impossibly. Go. Under now! Jiho forced the words out through gritted teeth. Students scrambled under the raised beam. Velis went through. Hana helped the injured ones. Prix, shaking off his frozen shock, moved to help. I can hold the other end, Prix started. No time. Just go. Jiho's arms were shaking badly now. He was at his limit. Prix went through last. The moment he cleared, Jiho released the beam. It crashed down with a thunderous boom. Jiho collapsed against the wall, gasping. You lifted. How did you? Prix could not form words. Hysterical. Strength, Jiho panted. Adrenaline. Blocks pain. Removes mental limits, temporarily, probably. Damaged muscles. Will hurt later. Worth it. Hana pulled him to his feet. Can you walk? Yeah, let's get these people safe. They continued through the service tunnel. It was narrow and dark. Built for maintenance robots, not people. Everyone had to move in single file. Another explosion shook the station. The tunnel began to collapse. Run! Hana shouted. They ran. In the narrow tunnel in the dark with debris falling around them. Hana led the front, using her hands to feel the way. Jiho took the rear, pushing stragglers forward, making sure no one fell behind. A piece of ceiling fell directly toward Sula. Jiho lunged, grabbed her, twisted his body to shield her. The debris hit his back with brutal force. He grunted in pain but did not let go. Keep moving, he growled, pushing Sula forward despite the blood now running down his back. They emerged into a safe zone. Emergency lighting. Medical teams. Security personnel. The class tumbled out of the tunnel and collapsed in exhaustion and relief. Medical staff rushed forward. They tried to check Jiho's injuries, but he waved them off. Check everyone else first. Make sure all my students are okay. You are bleeding, the medic insisted. I'll live. Check them. It was not negotiable. Only after every single student had been examined and treated did Jiho allow the medics to look at his back. The debris had broken the skin and bruised the muscle badly. It would have killed most species. For him it was painful but survivable. As the medics worked, Prix sat nearby, watching the humans with new understanding. Throughout the entire crisis, he had frozen. His predator instincts had made him frightening instead of helpful. He had been useless. But the humans, the true apex predators, had transformed into something else. Not monsters. Not killers. Protectors. They had assessed, planned, and acted with perfect efficiency. They had used their incredible strength not to hurt, but to save. They had put themselves in danger to shield others. Jiho caught Prix staring and smiled tiredly. You okay, buddy? I did nothing, Prix said quietly. I froze. I was useless. You were scared. That's normal, Hana said, sitting down next to them despite her own exhaustion. Fear is natural. You can't blame yourself for that. But you were not afraid. Oh, we were terrified, Jiho corrected. Humans feel fear just like everyone else. We just have a lot of practice pushing through it. When you grow up on a death world, you learn to act despite fear. It becomes automatic. You saved everyone, Prix said in wonder. We helped, Hana corrected gently. Everyone helped. You kept students calm by staying in that corner instead of adding to the panic. That was smart thinking, but Prix knew the truth. He had seen it. When crisis came, the humans did not hesitate, did not freeze, did not fail. They had faced death and simply refused to accept it. That was the real power of Deathworlders, not their strength, their absolute, stubborn refusal to give up. The field trip to the station's environmental training facility was scheduled for the second week. Instructor Velis had planned it as a simple educational experience. The facility had different chambers that simulated various planetary conditions. Students could experience what life was like on other worlds. The class gathered at the facility entrance. A technician named Vork, who looked like a floating jellyfish, greeted them. "Welcome, students. Today you will experience different environments in a safe, controlled setting. We have chambers for different gravity levels, atmospheric compositions, and temperature ranges. Each of you will understand how others live." The first chamber simulated Silkara, Sula's homeworld. The gravity was 0.6 standard, very light. The air was thick with gentle, sweet scents. Soft bioluminescent plants lined the walls. Most students floated slightly as they walked, enjoying the reduced gravity. Jiho and Hana seemed heavier than the others, but they moved easily enough. "This is wonderful," Bryn said, his gaseous form spreading out slightly in the comfortable atmosphere. "I feel so light." Prix moved carefully, worried his extra strength in low gravity might cause him to accidentally hurt someone. "It is very pleasant." They visited several more chambers. Nebulus's thick atmosphere made everyone feel like they were moving through water. Kip's rocky homeworld had interesting crystal formations. Each environment was comfortable and safe. Then they reached the gravity training section. "This area has chambers with different gravity levels," Vork explained. "Most species evolved in 0.5 to 0.8 standard gravity. We have chambers going up to 1.5 standard for extreme training. Very few species can handle anything above 1.2. The display showed different gravity levels with warning colors. 0.5 to 0.8 were marked green for safe. 0.9 to 1.1 were marked yellow for moderate. 1.2 and above were marked red for dangerous. "Let us try the 0.8 chamber first," Velis suggested. "That should be comfortable for most species." The class entered the 0.8 gravity chamber. Most students felt normal, maybe slightly heavier than usual. Sula struggled a bit, her wings drooping. Prix seemed completely comfortable. "This is close to my homeworld's gravity," Prix said. "Kresh has about 0.9 standard." They moved to the 0.9 chamber. More students started struggling now. The extra weight made them tired quickly. Sula could barely move, her delicate frame not designed for such force. "I think I need to stop," Sula said, her voice strained. "Of course." "Please return to the standard gravity area," Velis said kindly. Several other students left with Sula. About half the class remained for the next level. The 1.0 chamber door opened. Standard gravity, according to galactic measurements. Bryn's containment suit creaked with strain as they entered. "This is quite heavy." Bryn pulsed a stressed red color. "I do not know if I can—" He stopped talking. Jiho and Hana had walked into the chamber like it was nothing. They moved normally, easily, without any sign of strain. "Wait," Teepee said slowly. "You are not struggling at all." Jiho looked confused. "Struggling with what?" "The gravity." Bryn's voice went high-pitched. "This is 1.0 standard. This is crushing force." Hana blinked. "This is crushing force? This feels normal to us." The remaining students stared at the humans in shock. Velis checked her datapad with trembling eye stalks. "Oh no, oh no, no, no. Earth's gravity. It lists Earth's gravity as 1.0 standard." "Yeah, that's right," Jiho confirmed. "This is what we live in every day." Prix leaned against a wall, his legs shaking with effort. He was one of the strongest species in the class, and even he found 1.0 gravity difficult. "You live in this?" "Well, yeah," Hana said, still looking confused by their reactions. "I mean, this is just normal Earth gravity. It's not heavy at all for us." Kip made a choking sound. "Normal? This is normal for you?" Fork the technician floated over, his jellyfish-like body pulsing with curiosity. "How interesting. Let me pull up Earth's environmental data." He projected a hologram for everyone to see. The display showed Earth statistics. Gravity, 1.0 standard, high gravity warning. Atmospheric oxygen 21%, highly reactive, corrosive. Surface temperature range, 89 degrees to plus 157 degrees Celsius. Extreme variation. Tectonic activity, active, unstable crust. Weather systems, hurricanes, tornadoes. Tsunamis, severe danger. Native life. Includes multi-ton megafauna, extreme hazard. Your planet is trying to kill you, Bryn said, his whole form turning bright orange with alarm. Everything about this world is dangerous. I mean, when you put it that way, I guess. Jiho scratched his head. But it's just home to us. You adapt, you know? Adapt? Prix was breathing heavily from the effort of standing in 1.0 gravity. How do you even move? How do you do anything? We just do? Hana demonstrated by walking around the chamber normally. She bent down and touched her toes easily. She did a small jump. Our muscles and bones developed in this gravity. This is baseline for us. Velis was scrolling through more data on her datapad, and her color kept getting paler and paler. Your planet has creatures massing up to 200 tons, she read aloud, her voice shaking. Blue whales, they are called. And land predators weighing 6 tons. Elephants that weigh 7 tons. How do you survive alongside such massive creatures? Oh, well, we're smarter than them, Jiho said simply. And we have tools. And we work together. Humans are pretty good at cooperating to take down big threats. Take down? Kip squeaked. You hunt these massive creatures? Our ancestors did, Hana confirmed. Ancient humans hunted mammoths and other megafauna to extinction, actually. We're really efficient pack hunters when we want to be. The class was silent except for the sound of Prix's heavy breathing and Bryn's stress pulsing. Can we try something? Vork asked, his scientific curiosity overcoming his shock. Would you humans be willing to try the 1.2 gravity chamber? The remaining students all backed toward the exit. They wanted to leave, but they also wanted to see what would happen. Jiho shrugged. Sure, why not? The humans entered the 1.2 gravity chamber alone. Everyone watched through the observation window. At 1.2 standard gravity, most species would be crushed. Their bones would break. Their organs would fail. Jiho and Hana moved slower in the chamber, clearly feeling the extra weight. But they were still moving, walking, functioning. This is like wearing a heavy backpack, Hana commented. Definitely harder, but not impossible. Some human athletes train in conditions like this. Wait, train in this? Sula had returned to watch and now regretted it. You make this harder on purpose? Yeah, resistance training, Jiho explained. If you make your body work harder during practice, then normal conditions feel easier later. Vork pulled up more information. According to Earth historical records, humans evolved in gravity conditions ranging from 1.0 to 1.05 standard, depending on location. Your bone density is extremely high. Your muscle-to-weight ratio is extraordinary. Your cardiovascular system is incredibly powerful to pump blood against this gravity. Your species evolved to be strong, Prix said, his voice filled with new understanding. Everything about your world requires strength. Strength to walk, strength to lift objects, strength to simply exist. I never really thought about it that way, Hana admitted. It's just normal for us. Velis reviewed more data about Earth and spoke almost to herself. Constant natural disasters, violent weather that can level buildings, earthquakes that crack the ground, volcanoes that bury entire cities, ocean waves that wash away coastlines, and yet humans built civilizations, thrived, spread across the entire planet. We're adaptable, Jiho said from inside the chamber. When one area gets too dangerous, we move. When we can't move, we build stronger. When we can't build stronger, we develop new technologies. Humans are really good at solving problems. Your species scares me, Bryn admitted, pulsing a deep purple. Not because you are violent, but because you are so capable. You live in conditions that would kill most of us. You evolved in a world that constantly tests you, and you made it to space anyway. Hana and Jiho exited the 1.2 chamber and rejoined the group in standard gravity. You think of us as predators, Prix said slowly. But you are more than that. You are survivors. Your world demanded that you become strong, adaptable, and tough, or die. Every species on Earth is like that, Jiho said. Even the prey animals are dangerous by galactic standards. Earth rabbits can kick hard enough to break bones. Earth horses weigh half a ton and can run at 50 kilometers per hour. Earth house cats are tiny ambush predators with retractable claws and incredible reflexes. Everything on your world is a weapon, Kip whispered in horror. Or food, Hana corrected. Humans see most things as either useful, dangerous, or edible. Sometimes all three. The class left the training facility in silence. They had come expecting to experience different worlds. Instead, they had discovered that 2 of their classmates lived every single day in conditions that would kill most galactic species within hours. As they walked back to the classroom, students gave Jiho and Hana even more space than before. Not hostile space, but odd space. Respectful space, all except pricks who walked beside them as usual. I understand now, he said quietly to the humans. Why you did not fear me. You come from a world where everything is a predator. Everything is a threat. A Rockin must seem small to you compared to what you survived growing up. Jiho smiled kindly. Pricks, buddy, we don't see you as a threat. We see you as a friend. That's different. Pricks felt something warm in his chest. The first week of classes brought many surprises. The biggest surprise was Pricks himself. The large Ralkeen who looked so fearsome turned out to be the gentlest student in the entire class. Every morning, Pricks arrived early and sat in the corner. He moved slowly and carefully, always aware of how much space his large body took up. When he walked past other students, he would press himself against the wall to give them room. His claws stayed retracted at all times. He spoke in soft tones and never made sudden movements. During lunch on the third day, Sula finally got brave enough to ask him a question. Pricks, I notice you only eat the vegetable dishes, but I thought Ralkeen were carnivores. Pricks looked down at his plate of colorful vegetables and grains. My species are obligate carnivores biologically. Our bodies are designed to eat meat, but I choose not to. I take supplements to stay healthy. I decided many years ago that I wanted to follow a path of peace. That must be difficult, Bryn said, pulsing a curious green color. It is a choice I make every day, Pricks admitted. My instincts sometimes tell me to hunt, to chase, to bite, but I meditate each morning to find calm. I remind myself that I am more than my evolution. I can choose who I want to be. The students around the table looked at him with new respect. Sula even moved her seat a bit closer. Meanwhile, Jiho and Hana had become popular in the class. They were friendly and helpful. Jiho had a talent for making jokes that somehow worked across species barriers. Hana helped several students with their homework when they struggled. They seemed so normal, so harmless, so kind. Instructor Velis began to relax. She had worried about having a Deathworld species in her class, but clearly, Earth's classification must have been about the environment, not the humans themselves. They were delightful students. Everything changed during the xenobiology lecture on the fifth day. Instructor Velis was discussing evolutionary adaptations, how different environments created different survival strategies. She asked each species to share something unique about their evolution. Sula explained how her people developed the ability to sense electrical fields. It helped them find food in the dark forests of their homeworld. Bryn described how gas spheres evolved to communicate through color changes in their bodies. It was more efficient than sound in their thick atmosphere. A small lizard-like student named Kip talked about his species' ability to regrow lost limbs. It helped them survive accidents on their rocky homeworld. Then Velis turned to Pricks. The Ralkeen shifted uncomfortably. My people evolved as apex predators, Pricks said quietly. We have binocular vision to track prey. Our eyes face forward to judge distances when hunting. We have powerful jaws that can bite through bone. Our claws can tear through thick hide. We are built to chase, catch, and kill. Several students shifted nervously. Even though they had grown more comfortable around Pricks, hearing him describe his hunting adaptations was unsettling. But remember, Velis said quickly, Pricks has chosen a different path. Evolution does not define destiny. Now let us hear from our human students. Jiho, Hana, what are some human evolutionary adaptations? Jiho scratched his head thoughtfully. Well, we're pursuit predators. Endurance hunters, specifically. The class looked confused. Velis's eye stalks tilted. I am not familiar with that term. Oh, it means we chase prey until it dies from exhaustion, Jiho explained casually. Most animals can run faster than humans in short bursts. But we can run for hours, days even. We just follow the prey, never stopping, never giving up. Eventually, the animal gets too tired to run anymore and collapses. Then we kill it. The classroom went very quiet. That sounds... Sula's wings trembled. That sounds terrifying, Hana nodded. It's pretty effective. Our ancestors would track animals across huge distances. We can regulate our body temperature through sweating, so we don't overheat like most animals do. We can carry water with us. We can run in the middle of the day when other predators are too hot to move. We also have really good endurance in general, Jiho added. Humans can walk or run about 40 kilometers in a day without much trouble. Some humans train to run over 100 kilometers at once just for fun. Bryn pulsed a shocked orange color. For fun? Why would you do that? Because it's a challenge, I guess. Jiho shrugged. Velis checked her datapad with growing concern. She should have researched this earlier. What else? She asked, though she was not sure she wanted to know. Well, we're one of the only species that evolved throwing as a hunting strategy, Hana said. Human shoulders and arms are specifically designed to throw objects with incredible accuracy and force. We can kill prey from a distance by throwing rocks or spears. Our eyes face forward for depth perception, just like Prix's, Jiho continued. We need it to judge distances when throwing or hunting. And we have really good pattern recognition. We can track prey by following tiny signs like bent grass or disturbed soil. A small blue student named Teepee raised a tentacle nervously. But humans are omnivores, right? You eat plants too? Oh yeah, definitely, Jiho said. We can eat almost anything. Meat, plants, fungi, insects. Our digestive system is really adaptable. It's one reason humans spread across our whole planet. We can survive in environments where other species would starve. Velis looked at the humans with new eyes. Their teeth, she noticed for the first time, were not flat like herbivores or sharp like carnivores. They had both types. Flat teeth for grinding plants in the back, sharp teeth for tearing meat in the front. Perfect omnivore teeth. You mentioned regulating body temperature, Velis said slowly. How else do humans adapt to different environments? Oh, we're pretty tough, Hana said. Humans can survive in temperatures from about -40 to +50 degrees Celsius. We live in frozen Arctic zones and burning deserts. We adapted to high mountains with thin air and deep valleys with thick air. We can swim in water and climb in trees. We're generalists. And our healing is pretty good, Jiho added. We can recover from injuries that would kill most species. Broken bones heal in weeks. We can survive infections, blood loss, and even some organ damage. Our pain tolerance is high because our ancestors needed to keep functioning even when injured. Prix was staring at the humans with a strange expression. It might have been recognition. You are persistence hunters, he said quietly. Your prey cannot hide from you, cannot outrun you, cannot escape. You simply never stop following. That's about right, Jiho agreed cheerfully. And you mentioned something about getting stronger when threatened, Velis asked, scrolling through her notes. Oh right, the adrenaline response, Hana said. When humans sense danger, our bodies release chemicals that make us faster and stronger. Our heart rate increases, our pupils dilate, our muscles get more blood flow. We can temporarily ignore pain and perform feats of strength we normally couldn't do. We call it fight-or-flight response, Jiho explained. When threatened, our body automatically prepares us to either fight the danger or run from it. It's an automatic survival mechanism. Sula's wings were shaking badly now. So you are predators. Jiho looked surprised. Well, yeah. Humans are apex predators on Earth. We're at the top of the food chain. But you are so friendly, Bryn said, pulsing a confused purple. Sure, we're social, Hana said. Humans are pack hunters. We evolved to work in groups. That means we needed to be good at cooperating, communicating, and caring for each other. You can't hunt as a pack if you don't trust your packmates. Velis's tentacles had gone completely still. She pulled up Earth's classification on her datapad and actually read the full file this time. Earth. Class 12 Deathworld. Gravity 1.0 standard, high gravity. Oxygen atmosphere 21%. Highly reactive and corrosive to most species. Tectonic activity extreme. Weather systems. Violent and unpredictable. Native megafauna, numerous species massing multiple tons. Dominant species. Apex persistence predators with tool-using intelligence. Warning. Humans possess extreme environmental adaptability and stress response capabilities. Exercise caution. Velis looked up at Jiho and Hana. They were smiling pleasantly, looking completely harmless. But now she knew better. She had been teaching them for a week without truly understanding what they were. Class 12 Deathworld. The highest rating. Not because of environmental hazards, because of the humans themselves. The class ended in uncomfortable silence. As students filed out, they gave the humans more space than before. Not hostile space, but uncertain space, all except Prix. The Ralkeen walked alongside Jiho and Hana as usual. You do not fear us? He asked them quietly. Fear you? Why? Jiho looked genuinely confused. I am a predator, Prix said. Hana laughed softly. So are we. Takes one to know one, right? Prix considered this. For the first time in his life, he walked beside others who understood what it meant to carry a predator's instincts, others who had to choose every day to be gentle despite their nature. He was not alone anymore. The Galactic Interspecies Academy floated in the darkness of space like a silver jewel. It orbited a peaceful green planet called Viridian Prime, far from any dangerous zones in the galaxy. Young beings from dozens of worlds came here to learn about each other. They studied diplomacy, alien biology, and how to work together across the stars. Instructor Velis moved through her classroom on 4 soft tentacles. She was a centaurian, looking somewhat like an Earth octopus but much larger. Her 3 eye stalks swiveled as she checked each student's nameplate on their desks. This semester's integration class would be interesting, she thought. 23 students from 18 different species. Most were herbivores or gentle omnivores from safe, calm worlds. This should be an easy term. Then she saw the notification on her datapad and her eye stalks stiffened with shock. A Ralkeen had been approved for her class. A carnivore, an actual predator species. The other students noticed her reaction. Sula, a delicate creature covered in soft moth-like wings, began to tremble. Her species came from a world with no predators at all. Bryn, who looked like a floating ball of colorful gas inside a clear sphere, pulsed an alarmed yellow color. "Is something wrong, instructor?" Bryn asked, his voice coming from a small speaker on his containment suit. Bellis tried to compose herself. "No, nothing. Just reviewing the roster. We have some diverse students this term." But word spread quickly through the classroom. The Ralkeen were famous across the galaxy. They were one of the few obligate carnivore species in the Galactic Union. Tall, scaled, with sharp teeth and retractable claws. Natural hunters. Even though they had been civilized for thousands of years, prey species never felt comfortable around them. When Prix entered the classroom, several students immediately moved to the back. He stood nearly 7 feet tall, covered in dark green reptilian scales. His eyes were golden with vertical slit pupils. When he opened his mouth to apologize for being late, everyone could see the rows of sharp teeth. "I am sorry," Prix said softly, his voice gentle despite his fearsome appearance. "The transport was delayed. I hope I have not disrupted the class." He moved carefully to an empty desk in the corner, trying to make himself seem smaller. His claws clicked softly against the floor despite his best efforts to walk quietly. Every student in the room watched him with wide eyes. Instructor Velis cleared her throat. "Welcome, Prix. Please take your seat. Now we are only waiting for 2 more students. They are from a species called humans from a planet called Earth. They should be here any moment." The door opened again and 2 figures walked in. They looked surprisingly ordinary. Bipedal, about average height with soft skin and hair on their heads. They wore simple clothes and carried bags over their shoulders. The male smiled and waved at the class. "Hey everyone, sorry we're late. I'm Jiho and this is Hana. Hope we didn't miss anything important." The students barely reacted. After seeing Prix, these humans looked completely harmless. They had no claws, no fangs, no scales or armor. Their eyes were round and gentle. They looked soft and weak compared to many species in the room. Instructor Velis checked her datapad and her eye stalks went rigid with shock for the 2nd time that day. Her color changed from healthy purple to pale lavender. You are from Earth?" she asked quietly. "Yep, born and raised," Hana said cheerfully. "Is our desk over there?" Velis looked at her datapad again. Earth. Classification. Class 12, Deathworld. The highest danger rating possible. She had never met anyone from a Class 12 world before. She had only heard stories. Terrible stories about worlds so hostile that merely existing there required adaptations that made species incredibly dangerous. But looking at Jiho and Hana, she wondered if there had been a mistake. They looked so fragile, so harmless. Perhaps Earth's classification was due to environmental hazards like radiation or toxic atmosphere, not the inhabitants themselves. "Yes, please sit anywhere you are comfortable," Velis said, deciding to worry about it later. Jiho and Hana chose seats in the middle of the room. Jiho sat right next to Prix, who tensed slightly. Host species avoided sitting near Ralkeen. "Cool scales, man," Jiho said casually. "Are they all naturally that color or do they change?" Prix blinked in surprise. They are always this color. "You are not concerned about sitting near me? Why would I be concerned?" Jiho asked, genuinely confused. Prix gestured at himself. "I am a predator species. Most beings find us frightening." Hana leaned over from her seat. "Oh, we don't scare easy. Besides, you seem nice." Prix did not know how to respond to that. No one had ever called him nice within 5 minutes of meeting him. Instructor Velis began the class introduction. She explained that the integration program was designed to help different species understand each other. They would learn about each other's biology, cultures, and homeworlds. The goal was to build friendships and cooperation across the galaxy. "Let us go around the room," Bellis said. "Each of you please state your name, species, and one interesting fact about your homeworld." Sula went first, her voice barely a whisper. "I am Sula. I am a mothwing from Silkara. My world has 3 moons and no weather. It is always calm and peaceful." Bryn pulsed a happy blue. "I am Bryn, a gas sphere from Nebulous. My people communicate through color changes. We have no solid ground on our world, only floating islands in our atmosphere." One by one, each student introduced themselves. Their world sounded beautiful, gentle, safe. Most had light gravity, calm weather, and abundant food. No major predators, no dangerous seasons. When Prix's turn came, he spoke quietly. "I am Prix, a Ralkeen from Kresh. My world is... It has many large animals. The gravity is heavier than standard. My people evolved as hunters, but we have chosen a different path. I study ancient philosophy and practice meditation." Some students looked surprised. "A peaceful predator?" It seemed unusual. Then it was Jiho's turn. He smiled easily at the class. "I'm Jiho, human from Earth. Interesting fact about Earth? We have really diverse biomes. You can find frozen wastelands, burning deserts, deep oceans, and thick jungles all on the same planet. The weather changes constantly. It keeps life interesting," Hana added. "I'm Hana, also from Earth. Another interesting fact? Our planet has these huge animals called whales that live in the ocean. Some of them are bigger than this classroom. We have a lot of megafauna." Instructor Velis made a mental note to review Earth's environmental data more carefully later. It sounded like an energetic planet, but the humans seemed so calm and pleasant. Surely they could not be too dangerous. The rest of the class went smoothly. Velis explained their schedule. They would have lectures on xenobiology, cultural studies, and interspecies communication. They would do group projects and take field trips to different parts of the station. As the students left after class, Velis noticed something interesting. Prix walked alone as usual. Other students gave him space. But Jiho and Hana caught up with him in the corridor. "Hey Prix, want to grab some food with us?" Jiho asked. "We want to try that new place on level 7. Prix looked surprised again. "You wish to eat with me?" "Sure, why not? Come on, it'll be fun to learn about each other's food cultures." As the 3 walked away together, Velis watched with curiosity. Perhaps this semester would be more interesting than she thought. A predator learning to be peaceful and 2 humans who did not fear anything. She looked at her datapad one more time. Class 12 Deathworld. She made a note to research what that actually meant before their next class. But the humans seemed so harmless. What could possibly be dangerous about them?